Is it in all the way?
Blog Talk Radio.
There we go. It wasn't in all the way.
When the fog sets in and the night rolls through and the children go to sleep at night, there's one man that stays around and kills. His name is Donnie Schenkel. And he is a legend among legends, a pirate among pirates, and a weight killer among weights.
A pirate among pirates?
Also, Mr. Blackbeard, a man that sails the seven seas, getting people strong and leading them to victory. The man, the myth, the big man himself, the bear in the woods, the claw crincher of death, Glenn Penley! And the champ himself, two-time USA team member, national champion, two-time American silver medalist, two-time world champion, PWA record holder, John North. Welcome to Weightlifting Talk.
I worry about you sometimes, John. I mean, that's just crazy.
Come on, Coach. Scoot a little closer so they can hear you. You know, I wish I had voices like you guys. Both of you have these deep, manly, raspy voices that could make a woman's skin bubble with love.
Bubble.
And a man gets scared in his soul, and then there's my voice. I listen to my recording, and it's just all high-pitched. And where can I get a voice like you, Donnie?
Dude. Man, that was a great intro.
Did you like it?
I don't know if we're ready to do a radio show or if I'm ready to watch some WWE, man. That was great.
Thank you.
You practiced it all night?
I honestly didn't. Now, I'm not going to lie. Thoughts went through my head.
Spur of the moment, better than anybody I've ever met.
Thank you. Thank you.
So when you do think long-term, it's like genius.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
You're smart.
Long-term is genius, short-term is very entertaining.
I don't know where they come from, and you know, I brainstorm before the show starts. You know, when the lady says, you have 5 minutes till the show starts.
Wasted money.
Donnie did. Explain this. You bought a Cricket plug-in?
I bought Cricket broadband.
Okay, and you were all excited this morning about how you...
$45 a month.
Yeah. 45, not bad, because we thought you had internet everywhere you go.
Well, you do get internet everywhere you go.
But not really. Explain this.
You get internet everywhere you go, but it's 4 gigabytes of data transfer a month.
What does that even mean?
You know?
No, I don't know.
Well, I'm trying to think of it real quick and
Okay.
give you a layout. 4 gigabytes.
Yeah.
So I really can't watch like a movie. You know,
Any kind of movie?
I can't go like, you know, because I like to go on Amazon and rent something occasionally.
I like to go on Amazon and buy your Bible readings. Yeah. Is that up yet?
It's not on Amazon. You have to go to my store.
Where can I go to buy your readings? Donnie Schenkel. .blogspot.com. It's on your blog.
My blog, yeah. There's an online.
See how I threw that plug in though?
But I bought the broadband.
I'm a good teammate.
You're a great
Thank
kid.
you.
I bought the broadband device for $60. Plug it in anywhere. And then it's $45 a month after that. So I spent like $118 just to set it up. You know. But we'll see. We'll see where I get with it. You know.
I still am so confused about the database and.
I'm not good with the whole.
I asked you before the show. I said, so you could like YouTube and write on your blog and all that, and you kind of said kind of. You said only limited.
Well, I can still check email.
But there's a time limit.
Coach, can I check email pretty much every day?
Yeah. John, let me explain it to you.
Please, thank you.
There we go.
Here's the thing. It's good,
okay,
but he only gets 4 gigabytes a month.
I don't even know what that means.
Well, that means like if he was trying to do like Skype or download movies or anything that's like video, he's going to run out real quick, and then he's either going to have to buy more, pay extra, or just not have internet. 4 gigabytes is not a lot.
Well, I guess the cool part about it is that you can go anywhere, right? You could sit in a park and have internet.
Dude, I don't really go a lot of places.
Well, I don't mean to one-up you and say you wasted money, but I pay $85 a month for unlimited internet and cable.
Yeah, that's phone too, isn't it?
I think, but we didn't do it. Who has a damn home phone?
You got like a package.
Yeah, a package deal, which I wish it was cheaper, but...
So that's for cable TV and for internet.
Yes.
So that's pretty reasonable.
That's not bad.
I mean, you ought to check in.
And we have Netflix for like $7 a month. If you don't have Netflix, then either you need to get a job or you should, because it's very cheap.
$8 a month.
It's like, yeah, $8 or whatever. Shit, if Netflix was $20 a month, I'd still pay for it. It's pretty good, you know. A little frustrated they don't have more stuff. We got a caller very early on in the show. Glenn, before we take the call, can you just let the audience know how you're feeling today, what's on your mind? Just kind of throw your emotions in the mic right now, please.
I'm kind of grumpy.
You heard it first, PR people. Glenn is grumpy. Why, Coach? What's wrong?
Why didn't you take that call, John?
Oh, caller. Jeez. I thought you loved us.
Taking calls.
Well, you know, he was on there for 10 seconds. Coach, why are you grumpy?
Because you didn't snatch 160 yesterday.
Oh my gosh! You know, you
didn't make your PR set of 5.
I tried so hard. You know I did.
You know I'm going to put that video up with you missing.
That's fine. It's a solid. I mean, it's a good attempt. 4 from the low hang with 140, and I went under the 5th. You know, I mean, it killed me.
Yeah, watch the video, John. I don't think that was actually a low hang.
Oh, on the last one?
On all of them.
No.
You're not below your kneecap.
Oh, wait a minute. I disagree with you 100%. I think the last one might have been above the knee, but
watch the video.
I can't wait to see the video. I'm going to put. When is it up?
Probably about 5 minutes. It's uploading right now.
Are you going to put my? Well, look. It's still a 2 kilo PR, right? How you can be grumpy on that?
We were going for 5.
I tried. I ran out of gas. The 5th one, like, you know, the car is on empty. I had to pull over on the side of the road and call AAA. Coach, maybe if you gave me some pink pills, I'd be able to do it. Okay? Where the hell are my steroids?
Oh, let's not get into that again,
okay.
John.
Well, I'm sorry that...
Don't even go there.
You're just like my father. You never care about me, and I never can amount to anything.
Well...
Why can't I have a male... Why can't I ever have a male figure in my life that says, John, I'm proud of you, good job? No, my dad runs away with methamphetamine, and Coach slaps me in the face and says, I hate you.
I don't think you pronounced that quite right, John.
Methamphetamine?
That's not right either.
Meth. Crystal meth.
That's one way around the problem. Change the word.
Well, we started finally going off. We changed the workout a little bit lately, and I was going to talk about this. We're going off more blocks now. For a while there, it was just a lot of hangs, which was great because I've been snatching 160 regularly. Everyone on the team has been PRing like crazy. You know, the hangs are great for just, you know, strength building. But going off the blocks is really fun. I had one of my best meets. Actually, my PR total this year at the San Francisco, I don't know if it's a local meet, but still the highest total in the country right now for the 94s. What was it? 2 months before that meet, all we did was block work. Went into that meet, and me and you both just killed it. You broke all the PWA records, beating Martin Pashoff.
Yeah, I don't know about all that, but I do know one thing.
Okay.
You still have not snatched me in competition yet.
Have I not?
No. You've never snatched more than me in any competition. You're a great snatcher.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, we'll see at Americans because I'll be in the best shape of my life.
Kind of like Zakarevich.
Okay.
Kurlovich, you know.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Zakarevich was a weight class lower than Kurlovich, but he could always snatch a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So,
I can't tell if this is an insult
I don't
or...
know where I'm going with this.
Yeah. If you want to fight in the parking lot, we can. Who do you think would win the fight, Coach? Honestly, me or Donnie?
John, you owe me $40.
I do. God dang it.
What do you owe him $40 for?
Because I on my first attempt at set of 5 with 40, I said $20. You actually approached me with it, and I said, okay. You know, I was feeling good.
No, at first you were wondering if you were going to make the bet, and you were like, you really don't think I can do it? And I said, John, if you're not willing to bet, that means you don't think you can do it. I goaded you into that one.
Yeah, so I missed the first set, which was totally makeable. Because it wasn't like my second attempt. I missed my last one on my second attempt, literally just because I was so tired. But on my first one, I think I missed the third one just dumb technique behind my head. I let it go. So I doubled or nothinged you, and we know how the story ends.
And now you owe me $40.
That's $60 this month. I think I've paid you.
All right.
I think that's putting a big dent in the $80 I had to pay you last month.
That is true. I think we're almost about even, actually, which is a good thing. Donnie, you just said all right. Can we help you with something?
I got an email from somebody.
Oh, please read it.
Wanted to know some questions.
Great. Oh, I got a few Twitter questions.
Did they want to know the questions or did they want to know the answers?
I don't know what's going on.
Coach.
I'm trying to figure this out.
Mess with my teammate again and see what happens.
Changing coaches. I am 6 months in on a 12-month contract, realizing I'm learning to jump and shrug. Should I stop?
Oh, jeez.
Stop jumping, shrugging at the gym now? How should I deal with this, realizing now that the jump and shrug is an outmoded style? How do I confront my coach about this? So should he stop jumping, shrugging, and if he wants to change something, how does he confront his coach about that?
That's actually a really good question. The coach.
You don't like the jump and shrug.
I could answer the first part about the jump and shrug, but asking your coach about it and trying to kind of switch what your coach has been teaching you, boy, that's a life challenge right there. I don't know. I'm going to let Coach answer that as a coach himself. But the whole jump and shrug, I'm not going to go into it that much. Like I always say, it's not the 1930s anymore. I dropped out of physics, I dropped out of college, and I barely made it through high school. But I'll tell you one thing. I know enough about physics to realize that jumping in the air and shrugging the bar even higher, you're just a leaf that's just floating in the air. Nobody in weightlifting, from 1960 on, is taking 200 kilos and jumping in the air with it. And then while you're in the air, to shrug up even higher.
John, you got 2 phone calls.
I got 2 phone calls. Look, I'm gonna end this because it just upsets me. Like just last radio show when I went on about this, when people send me videos of them doing this dinosaur style way of lifting, and it frustrates me because I want to see them get better, and no one's doing it anymore. So I don't know. But before I take these 2 calls, really quick though, Coach, that's a great question. What do you think about him confronting his coach and trying something new as far as technique? What's your opinion on that? Should he just put his head down and do what his coach tells him to, or should he, sit down and do something about it?
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot. One thing, there's no good answer to that. Every coach-athlete relationship is different. It's a different dynamic. Even between one coach and 2 or 3 different athletes, the dynamics of the relationship are going to be different for everybody. And as you know, I am kind of I'm not a set in stone, you're going to do exactly this or else get the hell out type of person. Somebody wants to try something new, somebody wants to feel around for this. So I think it's important for lifters to know enough about their lifting and feel things for their self. And if somebody wants to experiment with something,
like Tom with his power jerks.
Tom ain't going to be a power jerker.
You think so?
I don't think so. I don't think he's going to be successful.
But
power
you're letting
jerking.
him dabble.
But it's fine. He wants to try it for a while and see if he can make it work. At some point, I think that Tom will realize that, hey, I'm going to be able to do more weight in the split, and then he'll go back to splitting at least on most days. But who knows? Maybe even given that, it'll still be good for him to do some power jerking for a while. So that's fine. He can
find it
around with it. But not all people are the same. Not all coaches are the same. I don't know if this particular person's coach is going to say, I can't believe you're questioning me, and so, or they're going to be cool. There's just no answer to that, really.
I thought that's actually a great answer. I thought
that's beautiful.
Yeah, I thought it was perfect. And I don't mean to sit here and toot your horn and try to get a pay raise out of you, Coach.
Take a damn call.
I'll take a call. But that's one of, me personally and many other people I have talked to is one of the reasons why you're such a great coach, is because you let the athlete be very flexible. When you understand that the athlete has to have a relationship with that bar, and that every athlete will be different, and you don't hover and you don't claustrophobic the athlete.
I don't claustrophobic.
I don't know if that's
athlete.
even a word.
It's really not supposed to be used like that. Take a call,
Let's
John.
take a call. But that was a compliment, by the way.
Oh, thank you, John.
So can I get a pay raise?
No. Take a call. Take a call.
Let's see here who is first. All right, here we go. Push the button, and 901 Weightlifting Talk. Welcome to the dungeon.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Justin Metz, long-time listener, first-time caller.
Hi.
So I've got a question about a hamstring pull. I don't know how often that comes across in you guys lifting, or how much experience you've had. I guess I'm actually a coach at a CrossFit gym here in Atlanta, head coach, and I've never had any injuries my entire athletic career. This year I've pulled my hamstring 3 times, same place. First time was sprinting, second time was lunges. Yeah, I know I probably shouldn't be doing lunges. But how do you guys deal with that? Have you ever had hamstring pulls? How do you train through that?
I have never pulled my hamstring, actually, but several guys that I've coached have. In fact, Tom has a slight, high hamstring pull right now. And I kind of approach that like approach most injuries, in that if it hurts, stop doing it. If you can do something that doesn't hurt, do that. Tom is actually training pretty well, but 3 or 4 of the last couple weeks training sessions, he's said, hey, my hamstring started to hurt again on that one. And I was like, well, stop.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing. Just doing pulls from the blocks, a high hang and things like that, don't bother at all. And just pulling straight from the ground is just, it's not an option right now. So I didn't know if there's any method, if you guys, do compression or things like that. I don't know how common it is in people that solely do weightlifting. So obviously we have a little bit different approach.
Compression tends to help. Right now, several workouts, Tom has wrapped a couple of ACE bandages around his upper thigh, and that's helped him get through the workout. But, you can always look at things, 2 different ways, and one's to say, well, shit, I can't snatch from the floor, and the others say, well, for the next 3 or 4 weeks, I'm going to hit my, hang snatches and snatches from the high block really hard and try to make some PRs on those that'll carry over when I can snatch from the floor again. I mean, you just have to have a positive attitude, and don't do the things that hurt. Try hard on the things that don't hurt and try to break PRs. And if you're midway through a workout and it all of a sudden starts to ache, stop, either go home or, find another exercise that doesn't hurt. Probably won't hurt on push presses or power jerks. Depending on which leg you step forward with, you may be fine jerking, So just do the things that you can do. Try as hard as you can to PR on them, and don't do the things that hurt until, it stops bothering you.
Yeah. I appreciate that kind of affirmation. I've been meaning to call in for about 2 weeks now since it happened, and I've been pretty much doing exactly that. As a matter of fact, I did some high hang snatches yesterday, and I think I did 15 pounds more than I've ever done on the exercise. So, things are feeling good. Catching in the bottom is good again. It's just really just pulling from the floor. So that's why I was wondering what you guys do. Also, to Tuchel's horn, especially since Glenn's on there, I have been teaching your method with the clean and the snatch from the basically backwards or whatever, the way you do it.
Top down.
Infinitely easier. Yeah, top down. Infinitely easier than any other way I've ever been shown to do or show myself. And it translates much better into a class atmosphere. So thank you guys for that. It's definitely helped out a lot. It's helped a lot of people with, early arm bends, which is really common in CrossFitters. People have just started it. And I think it makes them understand how to open their hips up better, too. So,
yeah. Well,
position.
I appreciate it. Make sure that you check out the MDUSA weightlifting YouTube channel, because we are going to have some new instructional videos go up on that channel. I think all the old ones were on the Cal Strength channel, but sometime within the next 7 days, on say the 5th, we're going to have a couple of new instructional videos, and hopefully, anytime you go an extra couple of years, you tend to learn a couple of new things. So I'm hopefully, even if you've seen the old ones,
you still learn, Coach?
Yes, every day, John.
Wow.
Even the new ones might have just something to offer also. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think those are the ones I checked out, the old Cal Strength stuff. Like I said, they definitely helped out. Even my wife is a trainer, and she'd never had any experience really teaching the snatch before she started doing this or whatever. And I mean, she actually learned quite a bit herself just doing that, you know. So I think her snatch went up immediately after learning that way and finding each position and finding the proper way to be in each position. It gave her a better idea of it, so she probably PR'd immediately. So.
Well, thanks so much for the call, Justin. We really do appreciate it. Attitude Nation salute, and give us a call back some other time, buddy.
Salute. See you guys.
I was going to add something else that just came to my mind. I'm just going to say it twice. I have no scientific backing for this, but as far as the hamstring thing goes, I think that stretching causes injury, and I think that cold water does as well. So if I had to give any advice, I'd say quit stretching and take more hot baths. But I know people are going to throw rocks at me right now and ask me why. I have no idea. Moving on. Chris Goot, how you doing, buddy? Chris, do you ever wear a T-shirt? Honestly, you're from Southern California, and it's showing. I don't think I've ever seen you wear a T-shirt. We went into Safeway with him the other day, or not Safeway, one of the stores around here. No T-shirt. He just walked around. I love it. Hey, it sounds better, Chris. Now get the hell out of here. We got another caller here on Weightlifting Talk. Super pumped to take this call. I'm about a half Trenta down, so the show is probably going to start to get a little more crazy.
Take the call, John.
So buckle your seatbelt, Coach.
Take the call, John.
Am I making you in a better mood, though, honestly?
No, take the call.
Okay, here we go. Boom.
Hello? You guys back? Oh, damn it. I'm not quite getting that at this end. Hello?
Oh, that's too bad. You can tell he wanted to talk. Paul, if you can hear us right now, I don't know what happened. We could hear you. You couldn't hear us. Please give us a call back. Okay, please. Hold on. He's calling again. Let's give him one more shot here. Sorry for the listeners out there. Let's give him one more shot. Here we go.
You there? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can. It's coming through kind of fuzzy, but I got you.
Here we go, buddy. What's up? Welcome to Weightlifting.
Oh, here we are. Woo-hoo!
Nice.
Oh, yes. Yes, brother. Oh, wow. I'm a little fired up. All right. So, John.
What's up, buddy?
I just want to say I'm proud of you.
For what, man? Thank you.
Those 160 snatches.
Oh, man. I appreciate it, man. It's all good in the hood lately, man. I'm going ham on them. I feel good. Thank you.
It's like you can't be stopped. You're like 160. What's next?
Exactly. The American Open, man. I plan to break the American snatch. Finally, it's mine, man. Thank you.
I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you, brother. So, yeah. So, I guess I have a question. Let's make it official. I'll have an official question for the coach or for yourself, John, or Donnie. I'm just, I'm kind of strong, but my technique sucks. I mean, putting it right out there. And I'm just wondering, in general, realistically, what the relationships are between, how much I need to be able to front squat, back squat before I can snatch X. I kind of feel like, there's no way I'm snatching 300 ever unless I'm squatting 5. You have some, blanket recommendations, as far as, numbers like that?
Yes, actually. It is going to vary. It's not going to be exactly the same. But in general, you should be able to clean and jerk somewhere in the neighborhood of 80% of your back squat. And you should be able to snatch somewhere in the neighborhood of 80% of your clean and jerk. Uh-huh. So, that's going to vary a little bit again. John has legs that are weaker than hell, but he's fast. He has good technique. So,
good athlete, coach.
Oh, my. So he actually clean and jerks a little more than 80% of his back squat and snatches just a little more than 80% of his clean and jerk. So on the other hand, you get a guy like say Travis Cooper. Travis is extremely strong. Jerks a left his clean and jerk. Snatches a So it's not a number that's set in stone, but it's a rough guide.
Oh, that's excellent. That's exactly what I was looking for. I'd never seen those numbers anywhere, and it's kind of frustrating. I was back squatting on Saturday, doing my 3 sets of 5, and I put 160 kilo on my back, which is basically what John is snatching. I'm like, this is ridiculously heavy. Clearly, if I can't back squat it for 3 sets of 5 very easily, I'm never going to snatch it, and that's what made me think, what kind of numbers am I looking at here? Get realistic, Obviously, I'm a little old to have that hope of, snatching 160 in my lifetime. I'm 41, same age as you, Glenn. But, I still want to make progress.
Yeah. What's your best back squat?
My best right now is basically 162 for 3 sets of 5.
So you figure you're good for like a 180 single, huh?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Wait.
Oh, my mic is giving out here or something.
Oh. Ooh. Snaps. Big range.
I'm sorry. My mic's cutting out here a little bit. Can you say that again?
I said if you're really good at the snatch,
yeah,
you should be able to snatch. What's Donnie? You got a phone?
It's like 135, 140, like you said.
What's 65% of 182 or 180?
65% 180.
So, snatching 115, 120, real good.
Aha. Okay. I'm on the cusp of 100 on 100 right now.
Okay. Well, and look, be honest. You're 41 years old.
Yeah. All right. Don't tell anybody.
Probably be a guy that gets to 65% of his back squat on the snatch. I hate to be a spoil sport, but you're probably going to have to squat more like say.
Coach, that's not true. Attitude Nation, AC up, windows down.
All right, I gotcha.
Speed goes before strength does. That's you don't see 40-year-olds winning a gold medal at the Olympics, but you very often see 40-year-old who are still at the top of the sport.
That's a great point.
And so, your speed is gonna naturally fall off as you age, way before the strength does, and that's that over a career you see some lifters that have a career, say they are on the intermediate level, at say as a junior, somebody like Ilya Lin won the world championships and the junior world championships in the same year. So he was like 18. It's very much more likely to see those guys at 18 or 19 years old when they have relatively low squats compared to numbers, But when a guy like him, see guys that are clean and jerking almost exactly what they front squat, and not back squatting too more than that. And as guys age, you see the guys that are or even in their early 30s and they're still at the top. Usually their lift stayed the same, or it may be increased a very little, but their back has gone up a lot because they're still gaining strength and they're still getting squatter or still getting stronger through that decade, but their speed has gone down. So they as they get stronger but a little less, they're able to still do the same numbers.
That makes total sense. Yeah. Do you still snatch, Glenn?
No, I do not.
Oh, please, Glenn, please do a snatch. I'll $1,000 if you do a snatch. If you do a workout with us.
No, absolutely not. No. I was in competitive athletics for a long time. I started, third grade or fifth grade.
Very modest right now. No. He's a all-American wrestler and a world champion powerlifter.
Oh, John, the fact I started,
right.
Up, a year in college. I did after that for a while. Then I did weightlifting, Olympic after that, And, you know, from 5th grade up to like age 35, I was always training a lot. And when I training for Olympic after not too long after my second child was born, it was just, I was cut a lot, and I was out, you know, working and on top of that, I don't really know how to do anything halfway. So when I was training, you know, et cetera,
Overtraining.
And also spending several hours a day coaching. It was just too much to do with the family. But once I quit, you know, I spent a good 2 years, you know, or more with athletics as a big life. And once I enjoy coaching a lot, and I just don't have a lot of drive to, you know, to compete. So
understandable.
A lot of college football or something, you know, they take 5, 6, 7 years after they're done to kind of get it out of their system and, you know, whatever. And then they eventually go back and do another sport and do something. And, you know, over the last 3 or 4 years, you know, before I left Texas, I did judo for a couple of years, and, you know, kind of enjoyed that, but after moving, it wasn't really available to me conveniently anymore, so I kind of got off of that. But, you know, I was training fairly seriously on kettlebells, and I actually wanted to try a kettlebell competition. I still may want to do that at some point. I'm sure at some point get into something, weightlifting again, but something that's just not quite mentally there yet, where I actually want to do it bad enough to actually do it.
I hear you. Yeah, makes total sense. Awesome.
Before we let you go, and you're the most awesome person I've ever talked to, I just want to let you know that.
Thank you, John. Appreciate that.
Seconds into this call show, I just started to chug coffee.
Yes.
I did.
I'm going to go get some coffee right now. I'm inspired to get some coffee in me. I'm going to go train right now.
Before I break this table of pure excitement, please, what do you have to say to the Schenkel himself that's sitting right next to me right now?
I'm not even sure that I'm worthy at this point to talk to the Schenkel. I can't even snatch 100 kilo. How can I talk to the Schenkel?
The Schenkel loves all, Paul.
I'm not qualified to speak to the Schenkel. John, I'm going to see you September 8th.
Oh, you're going to Attitude Nation, cert?
Yeah, I'll see you in Salem, New Hampshire.
Oh, yeah, buddy. I'm looking forward to it. We'll slam some bars and drink coffee.
All right, buddy. I'll see you soon. Thank you.
Whatever. I just want to throw in something that I know as far as what you should be lifting and compared to other lifts. I've always known that what you can snatch in pounds is your total in kilos. Is that about right, Coach? I know. I mean,
that's pretty close.
I understand what you mean about everything changes depending on the lifter. And you also go, I usually go about 30 kilos less of everything. So if you're back squatting, say 250, roughly you should be front squatting 30 kilos less, 220. Roughly you should be clean and jerking 30 kilos less, 190. Roughly you should be snatching 30 kilos less, 160. I guess that's roughly the same thing as saying 80%. But that might help you out there to see where you...
Those numbers, I mean, that's relevant if you're a 200 kilo clean and jerker and a 150 or 60 snatcher, but for a guy that's, you know, maybe a 100 kilo clean and jerker, you know, that 30 kilo rule is not gonna be the same. That'd bring it down to 15 kilos.
Well, I'm guessing if Paul's snatching 90, I'm gonna automatically assume he's probably clean and jerking roughly in the neighborhood of 120. Probably can be front squatting in the neighborhood of 150 and maybe putting up a 180 back squat. But that also, you know, it's not a given. You have to train all of them, you know, just because you can back squat 180 doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be snatching 100. If you're going to get good at the snatch, you got to be snatching. If you're going to be good at the clean and jerk, you got to be clean and jerk, and so on and so forth.
Oh, that's a good point. There's obviously always a lot of differences in opinion, and even controversy about, you know, how people should train, obviously. And there's a lot of instances historically that I have heard of other coaches or other athletes say, I did this and it worked, I did this and it doesn't work. I know several, I guess you'd say, stories from individual athletes that really decided they needed to get stronger. And that was the whole key of being a good weightlifter. Of course, it is a big part of it. You got to be strong. But basically quit doing snatch or clean and jerk, or drop down to only doing them once a week maybe, and put all their energy into driving their squat up. And at the end of, a year, they're squatting maybe 100 pounds more, but their snatch and clean and jerk is exactly the same. And I'm not going to name anybody, but I could name several people that's happened to. The only way that your snatch and clean and jerk are going to be in a some sort of relationship to your squat is if you're snatching and clean and jerking and training those hard as well as the squat. Yeah. So you can't just decide that, okay, I'm going to clean and jerk 80% of my back squat, so I got to hold the presses, stop everything else, and get your back squat up to some huge amount. If you do it that way, you're going to lose that relationship. If you train all the lifts together, that relationship of snatch, clean, jerk, and back squat should hold.
Coach, you're a genius. Donnie, so are you. Every time you guys talk about something over my head, I just sit here and soak it in. I should be writing it down. You guys are my role models.
You know what you should do?
Yeah, we should take a call. We have a bunch of calls here. We're going to take a call from a few of these people right here that have been waiting. Thanks for the wait, guys. I want to ask Coach a 10-second question, though. When you were overseas in, like, Russia and you were learning, weightlifting and an athlete and coaching, did you take the Attitude Nation certification seminar out there?
No, I didn't, John.
Are you Attitude Nation certified?
No, I'm not, John.
So then how could you be a USA weightlifting coach?
Yeah, I'm not sure, John.
Okay, well, you're probably going to be in a courtroom.
Okay.
Okay, interesting.
Okay.
All right, let's see who's been waiting the longest here, and that is definitely 901. Here we go. Welcome to Weightlifting Talk. Chug coffee and love your wife. What's up? Oh, we must have already had 901. We're moving on. I guess he was just hanging on there. Here we go. The next caller, 816. 816. 816. Hello. He must be snatching and clean and jerking right now. He's going to run back to the phone. Are you there? 816.
Move on.
All right, we're moving on. 580, welcome to Weightlifting Talk. What's on your mind?
Hi, this is Jim calling from Lawton, Oklahoma.
Hey, Jim, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I had a couple questions. I got a response from Coach Penley yesterday on a discussion board about a snatch that a PR attempted a snatch. And I don't know if he got a chance to look at my response, but figured I was listening to the show already, so I figured I'd ask him on there. I've been snatching and doing my weightlifting in some old do-ins. They have a 1.5-inch heel, and I've always had an issue of catching my lifts forward. So I tend to jump forward, and then anytime I miss a lift, I always miss it forward. So I was wondering if you guys think that maybe a lower heel, like a 0.75 heel, would help that.
It might. You really can't say for sure unless you try it. Generally, extra high heels work better for people with, some sort of a flexibility problem. When they can't get into a good bottom position without the added heel height. But, the 0.75 is pretty standard because the vast majority of people are going to be, I was going to say the vast majority. The majority of people are going to be about right with somewhere between 0.75 and 1. Those old ones that you have aren't actually 1.5 inches. Because when we measure the heel, we measure the difference between how thick the forefoot is and how thick the heel is. So I think when you apply that measurement, they're pretty close to 1 inch, maybe just a little bit over. But there's really no way to tell if that heel is right or wrong for you. Then maybe do you have anybody around that has some shoes and you can try lifting a pair with lower heels?
Yeah, I've tried lifting in other shoes. I guess I have wide feet or something because I literally I've never found another pair of shoes that feel as comfortable as. I actually bought them from you, believe it or not, back in 2005 when you were in Wichita Falls still. Yeah, they're really comfortable. I feel comfortable in them, but I don't know. Lately, I've been just missing a lot of lifts forward, and maybe I just want that to be the excuse that my shoes have too high of a heel. I don't know. But
I would suggest, well, number one, if you bought them in 2005 and you're still using them, that's great. Pretty durable shoes, but
yeah.
you figure out if a lower heel would help you. The best advice, I think, would be, even if you find somebody else's shoes, even if they're a little too tight and uncomfortable, go ahead and try them for a workout. Go ahead and try them for a workout. Put up with it and see what you think. And I will say that the newer shoes that we sell, even though they are the heel is a little bit lower, they still are wide. So if you have wide feet, they'll still fit. They'll still fit exactly the same. So if you end up buying a new pair, you don't have to worry about the whole design changing and them being uncomfortable. They'll fit just like your old ones.
Okay.
Well, thanks for the call. Any other questions?
Yeah. I do have one more question. I don't mean to hog the line, but I've always felt that I do I get a lot of PRs when I do minute on the minute training. So I take pretty minimal rest. I don't know what your guys' like optimal rest time between say you're doing just heavy singles. I feel like if I wait longer than 2 minutes, that I don't know, I lose it, whatever it is, like my CNS or something. I don't know, I just lose it.
Well,
how often or how long do you guys rest usually between like heavy singles?
The optimum rest between lifts is going to depend in large part on how efficient of a lifter you are. Now, let's go back to just what we were talking about with the other caller. If you are somebody like John, whose nervous system is extremely hardwired, and say snatching a very high percent of your back squat, you're going to have to rest longer between reps, okay? And that's fine.
Okay.
If you're somebody who, like a lot of, I guess you would say, recreational lifters, you're not quite, you don't have quite the same kind of a nervous system as somebody like John has, and your reps on the snatch are at a much lower percentage of your maximum strength level or your maximum back squat. It's generally good for a person like that to rest less, because the lift is actually not as taxing to your muscular system if you're snatching 40% of your back squat as compared to, say, 60% of your back squat. So you don't need a ton of rest, but you also will very much benefit from doing the lifts quickly one after the other, with a minute or even less rest, because that gets your nervous system more used to doing the lift, doing the same thing over and over. You start to fire more motor units, you start to produce force quicker, et cetera, et cetera. So you just said that you do better when you do on-the-minute snatches. I'm going to guess that you're not snatching, 65% of your back squat. So if
that'd be awesome, though.
Do it. Keep doing it that way.
Definitely. We used to train one-on-one clients back in California, and I used to do the thing that actually Coach taught me was 20 snatches in 20 minutes. So you only have a minute to rest, and then we do the same clean and jerk, but it's 15 clean and jerks in 15 minutes. And that's a volume workout. It's a very hard workout, and you would think, and what you do is that you slowly go up over the time of 20 snatches. It's so funny that you'd think that as closer you get to 20, these athletes would just buckle and hit the ground and they would be dead, like they just ran a marathon. But it was so interesting that I found that every time I did this with these athletes, these beginners or even kind of in the middle of the road, they would always PR. And I always scratched my head, and they would look to me like, John, how is that possible? And I kind of just looked back at them and said, let's go get more coffee. Fuck, I don't know. But, I don't have the scientific backing that Coach does, but I just know that they would always PR when you think that they shouldn't because they should be tired. But, I think it's one of those things where, they start to find a rhythm. They're kind of in the zone mentally. They're breaking a sweat. They're kind of in hell, so they just kind of fully go right at it. But I find that very interesting. Coach, any word on that?
Yeah, I mean, for one thing, that type of a workout has some value for everybody, but it has a lot more value for someone who's not extremely efficient. Yeah. And I'll tell you why and why it works.
Like me, I would never PR in that.
No. You're the total opposite of a person that would do good on that particular workout. Yeah. But here's what happens. When you do a set of 5 on, let's say, the snatch, the fatigue comes on so quickly that you can't deal with it, and obviously you miss, a 4th rep, 5th rep, 3rd rep, whatever. But when you're taking about 1 minute in between, what happens is that the fatigue builds very slowly and gradually through reps 5, 6, 10, 12, 13, whatever, and it builds slow enough that your body actually can deal with it and make adjustments. In other words, how strong your pull is obviously going to be much stronger on the 1st, 2nd, 3rd rep than it is the 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th. But that fatigue has come on slow enough that your body can slowly, over the 20 reps, adjust, go under a little quicker, a little deeper, et cetera, under each one. And you'll find that by a lot of times, reps 15 through 20 have a lot better technique than reps 1 to 5. But it's just building the fatigue slower than it would build on, say, a set of 5 or a set of 10 with no rest. It's building the fatigue in a way that your body can actually, throughout the workout, learn to deal with it and learn to snatch a little more efficiently each rep in order to continue getting the same weight up.
Yeah, I've PR'd probably 3 or 4 times after doing minute-on-the-minute workouts for like between 10 and 15 minutes. I'll do 10 reps at just like sets across at like 100, and then try to go for I tried to do I did it at 106 this past Monday, and then I tried to go to 116 and almost hit it. I was actually 116 was like way out of my league. Like I didn't feel like it was even on my radar, and then I ended up almost making it. So and that was after 20 minutes of snatches, and then I went 1 snatch on the first minute, 2 back squats on the second minute for 20 minutes. So, and I don't know. I guess I'm novice enough to keep getting the benefit of of those type of workouts. So,
well, I tell you what, that type of workout is great for a less efficient lifter. If you're not clean and jerking a high percentage of your back squat, or you're not snatching a high percentage of your back squat, those are great workouts to do. They really build your technique and efficiency. Most people that are more beginners do really well on that type of workout. As you get, to like say the place where John is or something, it's not going to do so well. So if you're still making great progress on those type of workouts, by all means, keep doing them, because it's not only getting you stronger, but it's making your technique better and better over time.
Well, thanks for the call, Jim. Appreciate it. And keep us posted on all your future success. Give us a call back on the show later, and Attitude Nation salute for sure. Good. Some good calls today, Donnie and Coach. Very good calls. A lot of good weightlifting talk. I guess that's why the show is called Weightlifting Talk. What's on your mind, Shangle? You're over there. You got the look on the face. You're looking like you're about to rip the head off a lion.
No, I'm good, man.
Friday, tomorrow, are you going... Are you maxing out with us, or how's your injury?
Going head-to-head, too.
Head-to-head?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my good Lord.
Head-to-head with you.
I tell you, I've been pushing. I actually get you in the snatch where you beat me last time, but, I think that we're good training partners for the snatch. I mean, you kill me in the clean and jerk, but...
No, not lately, I haven't.
No, I wouldn't say kill, but you still get me. But I definitely have a handicap.
I'm taking more fish oil.
Are you?
Like 12,000 milligrams a day.
Jeez, yeah. That's been the A lot of people have been talking about that. I don't know where we mentioned on Facebook. I know Glenn's page was blowing up with the fish oil stuff, but
every time I mention that you take more than like
people
10 capsules a day, everybody freaks out.
I took 40 last night.
40. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I got up to 100 fish oils. Coach says take 20 the first day and then up it by 10 until you get, diarrhea or you get the stomach ache.
You ask me what I do at night. I sit in my chair and I...
Yeah, you eat fish oil.
All fish oil.
Yeah. Well, I remember in California when we lived together, the day I got up to 100 fish oil pills, we went out swimming. It was the summertime. And
I got to 100.
I got up to 100. And in a week and a half, my tendonitis was gone, and both my knee and my elbow. And it's never come back. It's come back a little bit, and if it does, I crush a few. I don't count them anymore. I just take handfuls. But, I mean, I'm not a big supplement guy, as you guys know, but I do believe in fish oil, even though I went to a supplement store yesterday and bought creatine and BSAs, and, jeez, I went nuts on it.
BSA was...
I don't know, a bunch of bull crap, but I'm taking it. I don't know. Hopefully it'll help out. But and of course beta-alanine. The only reason why I take beta-alanine is because it makes my body tingle and my face itch, and I love it. That's pretty much the only reason why.
Take a call, John.
All right. Well, this is 816 again. I think he might have called in earlier, and he's just still on the line, but we'll check in on him here, and who knows, maybe it's someone else. So this is a new call. 816. Welcome to Weightlifting Talk. Are you there? Nope. That's what I thought. But, yeah, good show so far. Wow, a lot of good callers. The line's open, so if anybody wants to call in and ask Donnie, Glenn, or myself.
We're going back to that last time we talked about the 20 and 20. I like the 20 and 20.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done it in a while because I remember the last time that I did it, I was seeing Jesus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was dry even. I was exhausted.
It was the hardest.
What I like about it, especially as a beginner's tool, is fatigue is a great teacher. If your muscles are tired, if you are tired, then it's going to force you to lift that weight correctly in order to make it. And that's what I think one of the great benefits to that 1 minute per lift training is, and not having much rest is while you're learning, it's good to go ahead and take not as much rest because your body's going to have to start to learn how to hit that bar correctly in order to make it, and you're just not muscling through it. So doubles, I think, are great, especially for beginners, because that first rep, if you see as a coach or if you notice yourself muscling through it, then you're not going to muscle through that second rep as much, and you certainly won't muscle through the third rep. Mm-hmm. Breaking yourself down just a little bit and exhausting yourself just a little bit, and then doing another repetition forces you to bring the bar into you better, forces you to bring the hips harder.
Overdrive.
One other thing that really helps is that you guys have probably noticed this if you've coached a lot of beginners, is that if you try to make a correction, you say, okay, I want you to move your feet on this one, all right, you got to bring your hips through more. And then the person waits 2 or 3 or 4 minutes before they do their next set. They don't, by the time they go up to that next lift, they don't really remember the position their body was in. They don't really have a good frame in their head of what they did, how they moved, and what their body did on the first rep. And so it's harder for them to take that technical correction and actually apply it. On the other hand, if they put that bar down and they got 45 seconds before they pick it up again, but when they go for the next rep, they are going to remember exactly how it felt and exactly where their weight was on their foot. And all those things are still going to be so fresh in their mind that it's much easier for them to take whatever correction you gave them and actually apply it to the lift.
Well, it's so funny you say that, Coach. You're so right on. Before my wedding, me and my wife, or at the time fiance, did ballroom dancing classes. And it was so hard to learn.
That's so gay.
It's, Coach, please. And the steps and the technique and everything that comes with it, and then I got it, and we just danced and danced and danced. When we went, and like 10 minutes went by, and the teacher just let us dance and said, "Okay, now go." And I wasn't even thinking. I remember laughing at and smiling at her and whispering stuff in her ear and having fun. And I was moving, my feet were moving, I was doing really well. We took a 5-minute break, went and got some water. I think even talked about a movie we saw last night or something. And then we went back at it again, and it was like I never even took the class. I had absolutely no idea what to do.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to move my feet. I was tripping. The teacher's like, John, what's happened? You were doing fine. And but I think that applies the same thing with what Glenn said, weightlifting, is that you kind of just get in that rhythm. Your body kind of finds its home pretty much.
And you know, it was the only time you did the class, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you got to do the class every night.
Exactly.
You know? But something else I wanted to throw in, I will.
I don't know if that was a bad example.
I will purposely change and play with my rest periods in training, depending upon what competition I have coming up.
Good point.
If I'm competing in a local meet where I know that I'm more than likely going to be following myself, I will start to train with shorter rest periods.
Because you know you have to follow.
You train how you compete. If I know that I'm going to go into that competition with no more than a 2-minute rest period, then I will start taking some lifts in training, not all of them, but I will start to adapt myself to some lifts in training with shorter rest periods. On the opposite end, if I'm getting ready for an international meet, where sometimes you can be waiting 10 minutes between your first and second attempt, maybe even 20, depending on how many competitors there is, I will then start adapting myself to taking much longer rests, and even moving into something that's called I call it wave training. I've trained with a couple coaches who do this, where I will work up to a snatch in the back, or this for practice's sake, I'll work up to a snatch, and then I'll come back down 30, 40 kilos less, and then work back up to that same weight again, and then a third time come back down and work back up to that same weight again. So I could be working up to a 140, 150 snatch 3 times, going up and down and up and down and up and down. And what that's doing is, just in case we are in that big competition where I do have a large gap in between attempts out on the main stage, I will be in the kind of shape I need to go back into the warm-up room and retake my attempts again. So your rest periods, I think, before we get off the subject, they always depend upon what competition is coming up and what you're trying to get ready for. You know, usually, like I said, locals and sometimes even national meets, I will usually follow myself, and that depends on how good of a lifter you are. But once you start getting the big leagues, you got to start allowing for those longer breaks in between attempts.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think it's so well said, and you have so much experience under your belt, and that's exactly where experience comes from. I mean, you figured that out all on your own, just from your own experience. And I feel like I'm starting to kind of become like you now as I enter 5 years in the sport, because this year's nationals, from my second clean and jerk to my third attempt in the clean and jerk, I think I was in that back room for 15 minutes, maybe even 20. The longest I've ever waited. And I'm not making excuses, but I think it affected me. And it really did, because I've never waited that long before. And before nationals and training, sometimes I can be a prima donna. You know, I get upset that people are taking too long, or there's too many people on my same platform as me because I like to hurry, or there's only one person and they're going too fast and I get upset. And I used to be this prima donna that wanted my attempts and my training kind of rhythm to go exactly how I wanted, and I think that is a problem. Yes, it's so funny how you want to adapt in snatch, clean, and jerk. You know what I mean? That's all weightlifting is, adaptation. But then at the same time, you don't want to adapt in your training a rhythm at all. So ever since nationals, I never, ever, ever complain if someone's taking too long or going too fast, if there's an extra person on my platform, because I sit there remembering nationals thinking, you never know. You have to train your body to be able to, here's what Donnie always said. This is great. I'm stealing this from Donnie. You have to train your body to, here we go, react. Yeah. I love that. You've been saying that to me ever since I met you at In-N-Out 4 years ago, is react. Don't think. Even if you're waiting 20 minutes or 5 minutes, when you walk up to that bar, you should just be able to react. And I think you're just right on.
You got to react to any situation. It's easy to go in the gym every day and train snatch and clean and jerk to how you want it to go. Yeah. But you've got to be prepared, especially when you do start competing big time, national, international level. You've got to be prepared for a wrench thrown into the equation. I will purposely, like you said, you don't get upset about people taking longer attempts now or having more people on the platform. I use that now. Yeah. if there is an uncomfortable situation in practice where it's not exactly going how I want it to go or as smoothly as I want it to go, you know what? Competitions don't run smooth. You know, sometimes there's blood on the bar, and that adds an extra 3 minutes to what you have to wait for. So I will use all that, and I will sometimes even sit down and not even take my next attempt for a good 6-7 minutes just to see if I can get up from sitting that long and hit it. You know, so you're always going to be ready for something different. You're always going to be ready to react to anything. You know, so.
Great.
Let's take a call.
We got a call. I just love that. React. I think I wrote a blog about that. Hi, buddy.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's 914. It's Sean. Got a quick question for you guys before I go get the training.
Yeah, shoot, buddy.
And I like that coach is here because he can weigh in on this. And my question is about mobility. John, you've obviously beaten this to death, but your jerk is kind of your limiter in what you can do in the clean and jerk. And you look at a guy like Travis Cooper as well, and the two things that fall in common with both of you guys is looks almost like lack of shoulder mobility between the two of you. I mean, Travis Cooper can clean and jerk 194, but he has trouble catching 152 kilos over his head consistently. Coach, you can weigh in on this, but how do you address mobility problems in lifters, or do you even address these problems? Thanks, guys.
That is that's such an individual thing that we don't do. We don't have like a set program like everybody does this or everybody does that. Pretty much everybody on the team has some individualized mobility work that they do. Whether it's certain stretches or foam rolling and then stretching or stretching, foam rolling, something like that. Everybody does something. You talk about John and Travis's shoulders not being as mobile as they could be. I pretty much agree with you. They could both stand a little bit more shoulder mobility. John's shoulders lock out virtually perfectly in the snatch, but when he brings his hands in, his shoulders won't go into that same position. And we have frequently tried to experiment with moving his hands out just a little bit on the jerk. He recently moved them out about half an inch. And I think for him to jerk as good as he's capable of, he's going to have to move them out just a little more. But you have to be cautious with that because, with 400-pound clean and jerks going overhead, you don't want to just suddenly, put yourself in a completely different position because your body's not really adapted to, holding weights in that position. You can get an injury. But Travis, it probably his shoulder mobility looks a little worse than it is, and that is because he has an elbow that won't really lock really solidly. And that's not really a mobility thing. It's more just a bone thing. And so he has to put his shoulders in just a little bit a different position in order to allow that arm to really to get a halfway decent lockout. And so, he's, I guess you could say, a little bit limited like that. But Travis actually, his best clean and jerk is maybe 1 or 2 kilos, 1 kilo different than his best clean. So I wouldn't say that it's actually really limiting on him.
Definitely. Well, thanks for the call, buddy. And let's see here. Oh, he's already off. But I hope we answered his question correctly. We got another caller here. Let's go right into it since we're on a roll here. We got James. What's up, buddy?
Hello.
James, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
A really bad reception. Are you there?
Can you hear me? I'm here.
You're breaking up, buddy. You gotta. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
All right. Well, James, please call back when you. I don't know if it's reception or not, but give us a call back, and we'll try that again for sure. But yeah, let's hold on. Here he is. Let's give him another try here. Here we go. James, can you hear me? All right. Well, bad reception, I think.
James, if you're on a cell phone, you might try to go to a landline or something. We can't hear you at all.
Coach, I had a tweet before the show and that I wanted to address by Robert. And he said, John, during the show today, can you guys give some advice and stretch routines on how to get a good front rack position? And I do this in my seminars, and before I do them, I always give Glenn Penley the recognition because he is the one that has showed me this. Not personally for me, but I've seen him do it to others with very bad mobility. I know Donnie has done it as well to many of his athletes. And it's just that great stretch where you get them in that squat rack, go up underneath them, and you really just take your shoulders under the athlete's elbows as they push their butt back, and you drive it up. And even though the athlete is in tears and crying, it's just a great stretch. Can you both kind of comment on just what some good stretches for the front rack mobility position?
I've been getting a lot of emails asking about the mobility work.
Yeah.
You know.
Give it to them real, Donnie.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in that the lifts themselves are going to teach you what positions you need to be in as long as you're practicing them correctly. And I know that if you have problems with the hips getting low, you got problems getting the head through in the jerk, you got problems keeping your back straight, you know, all these mobility problems are caused from, you know, what you're probably doing throughout the day before training. So if you're sitting at a desk all day for 8-9 hours at a job, your hips are going to be tight, your back is going to be rounded from bending over at the keyboard, you know, your neck and shoulders are going to be tight from being hunched over typing at the keyboard. Fixing mobility problems, two things. Get in the habit of practicing the snatch and clean and jerk every day. And those two lifts themselves will start to address what you need to be doing in order to do those lifts correctly. And the second thing, get up and walk around throughout the day if you are sitting down a lot. You know, to get a foam roller with you at work if you have a desk job so that you can get up every 45 minutes and stretch for a good 15 minutes. If you're sitting in a still position for that long, you're going to have mobility problems. So don't try to think about addressing the problems in the gym, but start addressing the problems out of the gym. Because in the gym, snatch and clean and jerk will fix themselves as long as you're practicing every day. Does that make sense to anybody?
Oh, Donnie, if I was a woman, I'd marry you.
Don't always look for the solutions in the gym. There's something that can change out the gym that will help you. You know, I like to sit in the chair and work on the computer, but I also know if I sit in the chair and work on the computer for 3-4 hours at a time, my neck and shoulders and back can get it rounded out and tight. So I force myself to get up, stretch, move the arms around, roll on the foam roller. That way when I go into the gym the next day, I'm not all crooked and bent and tight.
Now, here's my two advice before Coach comes in with very better advice than me, probably very scientific. My two advices for you, okay, Robert, and whoever else is listening out there, is obviously, without saying, drink more coffee. That alone right there just makes you, A, a better athlete, more flexible, and actually gets you closer to Jesus Christ himself. Yeah. B, I know I say this about every time on the show. I'm going to say it again. Mobility, I'm a big believer in hot water. Okay? I know it's not the be-all, the end-all, whatever that expression goes, but I love hot water. It keeps me good. And then also, the only real stretch I know with that, besides agreeing with Donnie on snatch, clean, and jerk every day, is something that Coach could talk about right now, is that great in the squat rack, having someone drive your shoulders up and all that. Coach, you want to throw your 2 cents in on that?
Oh, there's nothing really much else to say on that. I mean, it's if you have trouble with the rack, do that stretch. In fact, as we're going to do a couple of technical, videos here in this upcoming few days and put them on the Muscle Driver USA YouTube channel. But maybe that can be one of them.
Yeah,
it's pretty simple. I mean, somebody just gets in a front squat position with their hands under the bar and in a squat rack, and you approach them from the front, put your shoulders under their elbows, and put your hands on the bar, push your shoulders up while your arms press down on the bar as far as they can go, and that goes a long way towards solving that problem. But what is something else is kind of interesting is Donnie mentioned getting up, standing up. It's actually kind of a new thing. A lot of offices and businesses are starting to put in standing desks, so that they're folks that are normally sitting all day at a desk at a keyboard.
What about something that I said? Why does it always have to be Donnie?
Because Donnie said a couple of reasonably intelligent things.
I said coffee.
Okay. Well, what's that have to do with mobility?
Everything.
But it's kind of a new, I don't know if you call it a fad or what it is, but there's definitely some number of offices are switching over to standing desks where you actually have the computer or whatever you're working on up higher, and you stand at the desk all day and work. And doesn't seem to me to be quite as comfortable as sitting on your butt, but it does have a fair amount of health benefits. Get off your butt and stand there instead.
Yeah, I don't know if this is my best friend Pookie, or I should call him Nathan Apsley. It's mad when I call him that. It's his childhood nickname. But he's a big accountant guy in San Francisco, fancy pants, making a bunch of money. And he won't give me any, though. I ask all the time. But he's like a boss guy, has people working under him. But he takes 20 minutes out of the day, takes his crew, the elevator downstairs, and they walk around the building twice. And then they go back to work. And he told me that was just his idea. It's what he does to kind of wake them up, get them moving around. And he says they just have more energy for the rest of the workday. So who knows? Maybe even Pookie himself created this movement.
But, John, that's not what I said.
That's kind of,
a standing desk versus a sitting desk.
Okay, yeah, a little different.
Is a little different than taking a break and taking a walk.
Well, I added something else to it. We got another look.
Hold on. There's three main mobility problems here that I've noticed. Tight shoulders, round back, tight hips. These are the main three that I can think of off the top of my head. And pretty much everybody is everyone that has mobility problems is going to refer to these three problems. Fix the problem by doing exercises that put you in the positions you want to be in. So if you're having problems getting your head through in a jerk because of tight shoulders, start jerking from behind the neck a little bit, where the head's already through. These repetitions will help teach you to bring that head through once you do go from the front. Tight hips. You know what? I've never had a problem with tight hips because I back squatted a lot ever since I was 13 years old, and I've always back squatted low and deep. So if you're having tight hip problems and your snatches and clean and jerks, you may need to devote some time to just strictly back squatting and stretching and keeping your back straight in a bottom position before you move on to something like a clean and jerk or a snatch. And a rounded back, posture. Yeah. If you're spending 8 hours of the day with the shoulders forward and you go into training, your shoulders are going to be forward, your back is going to be rounded. Check your posture every now and then. Sit up straight. Big cleans are the result of being very strong, strong back, strong abs, strong hips, moving fast, moving with a sense of purpose, and keeping that back straight. You want to get out of a big clean, you got to keep that back straight. And to do that, it may not be what you're doing on that repetition, but it may be something you're doing, like I said, throughout the day before. That's my 2 cents.
It's kind of hard to one-up Donnie here, but no, I'm just kidding.
Take a call.
I'm a huge believer in, like Donnie was saying, the mobility stuff, bouncing squats. I know I've said this before on one of the shows before. I call it the Disney bouncing ball song. Actually, I totally just made that up.
I don't like those.
You don't like the bouncing squats. I think they're great. You get really low in the hole on either the front squat or the back squat, as low as you can, and then you kind of just bounce around a little bit. Get comfortable around there. Move side to side, front to back.
Standing up with a squat, one bounce.
Well, yeah,
down there, bouncing. Yeah. You're training yourself to bounce,
it's an exercise. You're not training. It's not like you should be doing this every single day. But as a beginner that has mobility problems, what's wrong with adding once a week doing some bouncing squats, pushing that ass lower and lower into the hole?
Tigger.
The Tigger, right? I mean, of course you want to catch the first bounce.
Yeah.
Of course. But you can get good at that as time goes on, and you get better at weightlifting.
That's why I disagree, because I don't think it's right. That's why I don't like pause squats. I think if you can do a pause squat with 230 kilos on your shoulders and a front squat, you're a strong dude. That's great. That's going to help you big time. However, I don't think you should be training that. What you need to be training, especially for that clean, is getting up out of that bottom as fast as you can on the initial catch with a straight back.
Yes, I understand, and now we're getting at a good debate here. Me and Donnie might fight afterwards, but for people that can't catch the first bounce because they can't get into the hole, there's no way they can do that. Then they're going to start powering everything and trying to stand up too early. If you have mobility issues, you should be working on, no, don't stand up already because, hey, buddy, you're barely at 90 degrees or barely below it. Anytime I go to the seminars, I say, okay, the bar's over your head, now squat as low as you can. 98% of the people at the seminars that I do think that low is low, and it's really not low. I walk up to the person, I say lower, lower, and they go way lower, and their eyes open with surprise. I think people's definition of low is really not low. So get down there, sink down, and obviously once you get that flexibility and that momentum or that mobility, then I agree with you, Donnie. Never, ever, ever, ever do them again and practice that rhythm of catching the first bounce. So I do agree with you, but I feel like people that are unflexible should do them. Come at me again, bro. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, the seminar that I just did, the first exercise we do before we get into any going from the hip, going from the knee, going from the forward to back squat. Everybody puts a bar on their back, they sit down with a straight back, and if their butt is not as low as I think it could be, I will come around and I will push on their hips, and I'll get their ass even lower. I don't fix the problem by incorporating something that is going to be completely useless to them in the future. I fix the problem by showing them where they need to be, and then by looking at the weights they're using and doing it correctly with. If he is doing it right, for one, if he puts a bar on his back and he sits in the bottom of a back squat with his ass low, and I say, that's beautiful, and he says, oh, that's where it's supposed to be. He knows in his head where it's supposed to be. So we go to 40 kilos. Does he do it right with 40 kilos? Does he hit that bottom? Does he stand right up immediately with that 40 kilos? Does he do it with 50? Yes. Does it do it with 60? Yes. Does it break down at 65? Okay, let's go back to 60. And you do about 1,000 repetitions of hitting the bottom once, jumping up, and jerking it.
Yeah.
Then 62 is going to be the same, hopefully. 65 is going to be the same, hopefully. But I don't believe in addressing the problems by saying, hey, catch it, bounce there for a little bit, and then stand with it. Hey, catch it, sit there for a little bit, and then stand with it, because screw that. There's going to be a day when he's going to be pulling on a serious weight, and I don't want that in his head. I want him to be hitting that bottom immediately and jumping up. And we fix the problem by gradual improvement with the weight, you know.
And the thing is, Donnie, I agree with you. I really do. But I'm just saying that this is not a be-all, end-all. This is going to fix it. This is just a exercise, especially for somebody that really does have flexibility issues. Because there's a lot of people, in my opinion, beginning out in weightlifting that are not comfortable in that bottom position. Now, in the snatch, the bottom position is your friend. You're going to want to sit down there sometimes. Make sure the weight is balanced above your head. Everything's all good in the hood. The bar's still up there, and then stand, because you're always going to stand from a snatch, most likely. I mean, your back and front squat are way heavier. With my clients, I probably did this once every month if they had a lot of flexibility issues. But if they don't have flexibility issues and they're able to catch that first bounce right on that right out of the hole, then we never ever do them, ever. But I just feel like it's a good exercise for people that have issues getting in the hole, and people that are just are not comfortable in that bottom position in the snatch and clean. So I agree with you to a certain extent. I still do feel like it's a great exercise to throw in there every once in a while for a beginning lifter.
Let's take a call.
All right. This is James again. He's calling back. Let's see if we can. He has better service. And call in on this if anybody has their 2 cents on the bottom bouncing stuff that we're talking about. All right.
G'day. Hello?
James, can you hear us?
Yes, mate.
All right, there we are, man. We got a hold of you. What's up?
Oh, sweet. Quick question. What are your thoughts on doing conditioning work as well as traditional weightlifting training?
All right. Well, he was breaking up, and I could barely hear him, and we just lost him. So I think we got We've been
getting all these questions today, going to exactly what I've been getting emailed to. People have been emailing me about mobility, and people have also been emailing me asking me what kind of cardio I'm doing, and I guess that's what James is trying to be asking here.
Yeah.
Sounds like he's from Australia as well. I'll see you pretty soon, James. Coach and I are going to be in Australia leaving next week for a while. But John, do you do any cardio?
I haven't done cardio in let's see here. I got into the sport 5 years ago. I haven't done cardio in 5 years.
Yeah. I like myself. I don't do any cardio. I mean, I guess is walking, coach, on Sundays for an hour. considered cardio? I mean,
no, I don't.
Where does the heart rate level?
Yeah, I mean, I do active recovery on like a Sunday where I'll do some laps in the pool to kind of, you know, keep my body moving before Monday training. I'll do a little jump roping sometimes before training to kind of break a sweat. But as far as cardio to actually like improve my lifting, absolutely not. Why would you do it?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Anytime you're trying to get your body to do one thing, your body only has so much adaptive resources. And if you're an Olympic weightlifter and you go out and do 30 minutes of hard cardio 2 or 3 times a week, that's going to take away from your lifting. It's going to take away from how much your body can adapt to your training and how much weight you can lift. Now, you know, a lot of people is what I would call like recreational lifters, and that they like weightlifting or they like strength training, but they also want to be in good shape and healthy and this and that. And yeah, if you're not a competitive lifter where you are basically putting everything towards going to nationals and winning or whatever stage you're at, then I mean, yeah, you know, lots of people who are going to do other things besides just the lifts, because they're not necessarily a competitive lifter. They're doing other things. But if you're a competitive lifter, cardio is not necessarily, it's not going to help you, and it's probably going to hurt you. And I'll say this also, a lot of times when people hear things like, you know, 90% of the lifts that we do are, you know, singles, sometimes doubles, very rarely triples or fives. It's usually singles and doubles. So, well, how could you be in very good shape at all? You know, you're not doing any type of cardio type training yet. Donnie and John have both shown that they can, you know, do something like, you know, what's the workout, the Grace workout, you know, with 30 clean and jerks, and you know, however fast you can do them with 60 kilos or 135 pounds. Very, very competitive in that. Better than most people who specifically train for that sort of thing. What is underestimated sometimes, just how much work goes into a week of weight training for a competitive lifter, and how good a shape people that do that are. You know, we're talking about being in the gym training with heavy maximal weights for say 20 hours a week, and the amount of work done in that week is tremendous, and you adapt to what you are doing. And I will say that, you know, people that are in the best cardiovascular shape in the world that can go and do 10-minute Metcons, 15-minute Metcons, whatever, and just kick ass at it. Still, I have seen it enough times to be very sure that this is pretty universal, still would break down and be just absolutely living in hell by the end of a week if they were actually doing maximum squats and snatches and clean and jerks for 20 hours some week. Weightlifters are in pretty decent shape from the volume of training that they do. You know,
I'm glad you touched on that, Coach, because it's something John and I usually talk about in between training sessions.
I was just going to mention that.
John and I, you know, we've been lifting and training together, you know, for what, 3 years now, probably 2 years, I don't know. But when somebody else comes in the gym new, John and I know in the back of our head what that person's going to go through, what they're going to be doing in training, and that's when we see how good of shape we are in. Is when somebody else comes outside and tries to do what we do. And you're exactly right. You know, sometimes a training session will take, you know, 2.5 hours, and that's not
last night our afternoon session took a little over 3 hours.
A little over 3 hours, and I see the guys, you know.
And that was the second session of the day.
Yeah.
That was five total hours of training yesterday.
That's breathing hard. Sometimes, you know, I sometimes go up to maximum in 3 different exercises, 4 different exercises, you know, with, you know, not the longest rest period between, but that's sustained training over 3.5 hours time with heavy barbells in your hands, breathing hard. If you don't think that's cardiovascular. Coach is exactly right. Yeah. It ain't no, hey, let's just go lift some singles and it's so easy. Are you kidding me? That's why John and I can take a barbell that's a lighter weight. We're very strong men, but we can also sustain that 2 minutes of all-out effort because we are cardiovascularly in very good shape. I put it to anyone. Anyone out there who's doing Metcons or whatever, come in here and try to sustain over a 3-hour time period what we do in here, and you'll see.
It's just like, Donnie, I agree. It's just like when people say, oh, I'm on a healthy diet, or you're not on a good diet. What I always say this. What is a good diet? Every athlete and every person in this world is going to have their own definition of a good meal and what they need in their sport to be the best at their sport. That always pisses me off, and it's the same thing with being in shape. What is your definition of being in shape? Are you a bodybuilder? Are you a sprinter? Are you a weightlifter? It's the same thing with the squatting. I'm not going to go into it, but everybody likes to categorize shit. Like when someone said, John, it's not necessarily the classic way, or no, the correct way to pull. Well, what the hell is a correct way to pull? What's a correct way for Mike Tyson to hit somebody? Is Ali, when he moved his feet, was that a correct way to dodge punches with his head? Was he taught that? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. I'm getting pissed.
Well, you're off topic. You're off. I mean, what Donnie said about new people coming to the gym. We have definitely had a lot of people come in and train with us for a week or 2 weeks or 3 days, and from a lot of different backgrounds. Used to be a power lifter. They're a CrossFit athlete, or just a variety. And what the normal course of events is that they do great their first day, maybe even their second day. They walk in their second day, they're sore as hell, but they still pull it together and have a great training session. Somewhere between the third day and, say, the 6th or 7th day, they crater. They crash. And they're so sore they can't move and they can't hardly lift anything. And they go through that period, and it may last, 3 days. It may last 3 weeks where they're hurting. They're really hurting. But then they come back out of it. They adapt to the training. They come back out of it, and they're okay. But you do adapt very specifically to how you train. And no matter how you train, if you haven't, or how hard you train, or how good you are at other things, if you haven't lifted heavy, full body movements like snatch, clean and jerk, and squats, 20, maybe 20 plus hours a week with maximal weights, you're not going to be adapted to do that until you actually do it and adapt to it.
I mean, you're using a lot of muscles in a clean jerk. You're using all of them. I think.
Yeah, full body.
All of them are under stress. And I'll give you 2 examples outside of that rogue example that coach used. I don't train anything but weightlifting, and I know how hard it can be to get through one of those 3-hour, 2.5 hour training sessions. But that's all I've done for the longest time. Still, I can specifically remember at the Olympic Training Center getting on a treadmill and being able to run under a 7-minute mile at 235 pounds. Because 7 minutes is nothing to me. All it is put your head down and be tough and go. Because I'm used to being in the gym for 3 hours at a time. So I laugh at that. You tell me I have to give you all-out effort for 7 minutes when I'm used to giving you all-out effort and pain for 3 hours.
And you were shooting Hodges in overseas.
Yeah, I need to get that. And then another example is I did this strongman competition up at Raw. I don't think John was around at that time.
I heard you killed it.
I never trained for anything like that in my life. Just trained weightlifting. The guy that I was competing against was a big-time powerlifter, very, very strong man, training the events every day that we were going up against in the competition, and I blew everyone away by it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Are we almost done?
90 seconds, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to Weightlifting Talk. Thank you so much, Glenn, for showing up and speaking your genius black-bearded mind. Hey, follow me on Twitter at Attitude Nation. Also, Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. I'm a tweeting fool lately the last few weeks. And also, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Attitude Nation. Glenn, Muscle Driver, is going to come out technique and drill videos, which is going to be awesome. So subscribe to the Muscle Driver channel as well. But the Attitude Nation is coming out with some badass, every kilo counts, the old show type videos. That really doesn't have anything to do with technique, but they're pretty cool. I'm actually buying the camera tonight at Best Buy, and we're going to start putting them together. So check those out and all that. So, Donnie, Glenn, anything to say? We got 30 seconds.
I got absolutely nothing to say, John.
Donnie?
No, I think we had a good show, yeah.
Yeah, guys, and thanks for listening. All the callers, thank you so much.
I'm out of here.
Please tune in every Thursday, 1 o'clock. Spread the word. I know we changed it a few months ago from Friday at 1, but now it's Thursday. Keep training hard. Attitude Nation salute. Donnie.Schenkel.blogspot.com. No.
DonnieSchenkel.blogspot.com.
Salute, baby.